From the late 1800s to the early 2000s, the West End area has been an area that families have enjoyed, whether it is enjoying the bounty of Lake Pontchartrain, lake views, or spectacular sunsets. Locals still reminisce about Fitzgerald's, Bruning's, and a whole fried flounder stuffed with crab dressing, a dish best enjoyed on the shores of Lake Pontchartrain. Post-Katrina, this site served as a necessary staging ground for the new 17th Street Canal pump that we see to our right. Since then, this site has sat surrounded by a chain link fence. The site that we see involves state of Louisiana water bottoms and land in both Jefferson and Orleans parishes, with the parish boundary running through it. This project is a testament to the power of partnership and the simple truth that we are stronger together. I started working on this site 10 years ago when I first took office with Councilwoman Jennifer Van Vranken, and then Councilman Joe Geruso and Councilwoman Susan Guidry. Today, we are proud to announce that Orleans and Jefferson parishes have finalized the cooperative endeavor agreement between the two parishes. We are working with Governor Landry's Division of Administration, Commissioner Barra, to finalize the state lease in 2 to 3 weeks. After which, we will issue a request for qualification, followed by a request for proposals from qualified respondents. Using this timeline, we anticipate choosing a developer by the first quarter of 2027. So hopefully our next one is in the winter. We are all out here. Through the Economic Development District established this past legislative session, we have established that the Development District proceeds will remain on site and for the additional benefit and improvement of West End Park, which sits right behind us. I'm honored to introduce members of the team who have gotten us to this point. First, I would like to invite someone who, within her first week of office, had a meeting on this redevelopment and encouraged us to move forward together. I'd like to invite New Orleans Mayor Helena Moreno to speak.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Great to be with you today. Today is such an exciting day because we can finally announce progress for West End, something that we have been waiting on for such a long time. And Steph, I really have to give it to our representative, Stephanie Hilferty. She's the one who actually represents both the section of Jefferson Parish and Orleans Parish where this site lies. And your work has been truly tremendous. I can tell you that we wouldn't have gotten this far without you. So thank you to Representative Stephanie Hilferty. Y'all can give her a round of applause. So as Stephanie was saying, you know, this is really an example of the progress that can take place when we work together. When we work together across party lines, when we work together as a region, when we work together with our state leaders. You know, before Hurricane Katrina, this was really quite an amazing place where there were so many restaurants and entertainment venues and things like that. And I'm so excited that soon that is what it will return to. During my first week in office, as Representative Hilferty was talking about, I sat down and I got a full briefing about what was happening with the West End development and why progress had been stalled. Because I can tell you that when Joe Geruso, who's now my CEO, when he was on the city council, he kept saying that, you know, we just couldn't get it moving forward due to the fact that the city of New Orleans did not want to split the proceeds 50-50. Jefferson getting 50% of the proceeds, Orleans getting 50%. The city of New Orleans always wanted a significant larger amount of the proceeds. And that right there, looking for that perfect deal that was never going to happen, unfortunately, is what was causing this deal to not happen at all. So I chose progress over delays. I chose people and community over getting a few extra dollars, because ultimately what was happening is we were getting nothing. So during my first week, I made the decision, you know what, we're going to move forward. We're going to split the proceeds 50-50, which is what led to then moving forward with the CEA and starting to get that together, along with moving forward with the state legislation, which was the Economic Development District that Stephanie Hilferty moved forward this session. Now, let me also just say this, that projects like this cannot happen without really strong leadership and really strong partners. And first, let me just say this to Parish President Lee Shane. You and I have worked on so many different regional initiatives since we were both on the council. and I appreciate her so much. I think that both of us, the way that we operate is that we're really focused on outcomes, we're focused on progress, and we really don't care about who gets the credit. And so this is another example of that. Of course, I've already mentioned Representative Hilferty. She's done an amazing job. Hans Lidgerberg, thank you so much for your advocacy on this. You've worked so closely with Joe Geruso and now with our new council member, Amy McCarron. And then I do have to give a lot of kudos to my CAO, Joe Geruso, who just so tenaciously advocated for this. And I know he's so excited that this is getting done. Also to the New Orleans Building Corporation, who really helped get all of this together, getting the CEA together, working with both sides. To Commissioner Taylor Barra, who's the head of the Division of Administration, for Governor Landry for working with us through the legislation, and also now also through the CEA and through the ground lease. And to two of my former colleagues from my media days who are with us today as well, Jennifer Van Rankin and Scott Walker, thank you for your leadership in getting this done. I'm excited about the progress, and let this be one example of many more big things to come between Jefferson and Orleans Parish as we keep the progress moving forward when we work together. Thank you all. And with that, let me bring up here President Lee Shane.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. What an incredibly exciting and obviously hot day. We're here today. But I want to talk about this land. It's so symbolic. It's the land between Orleans and Jefferson Parish. Obviously, I was in Council District 5 before Jennifer Van Rankin was there and before Hans Lidgerberg there. And we were dealing with this issue at that time as well, but it was complicated. But the land itself is beautiful. It sits between Jefferson and Orleans, and it fully recovered after Katrina. I mean, if you look at it now, it's just land and beautiful grass. The hard part was the man-made structures that were there, the leases and the ownership, and it was the man-made things that were holding us back, not the land itself. And I credit Mayor Moreno. I wasn't in the meeting, but our parish attorney, Tony Hurley, was in a meeting with Councilman Lidgerberg. I think you were having a meeting that day. And our parish attorney came back and they said, it was a great meeting, everything went well, they agreed to everything, this is gonna happen. And I'm like, what? It was years where we just felt like this gridlock of governments and leases, and Tony was just saying, yeah, I mean, Hans was there, and he just, everything, New Orleans agreed to everything Hans wanted, and that's that. And I'm like, kind of still in shock and disbelief, but here we are today. It is a reality, and it is the most distinctive and historically significant land between our parishes. This land that we're currently standing on, I want to go back to an 1896 Times-Picayune guidebook. Referred to West End as the Coney Island of New Orleans, because of its number of hotels and restaurants and all sort of devices for public amusement. So obviously what we did and what our forefathers in Jefferson Parish did was they did not, hate to criticize people, but they're all probably dead now, they didn't understand the value of lakefront property, and they built residential neighborhoods all the way to the lake, and they did not reserve space for lakefront commercial development for the whole community to enjoy. And so we have very, very limited lakefront areas to develop. And credit to our council, including, Councilman Lidgerberg, Councilwoman Van Rankin, Scott Walker, also Rita Bohannon in District 4. We have invested at the lake. We have invested fishing piers, boat launches, a marina, a kayak launch, playgrounds, a soon-to-be grand pavilion, boat slips, and an amphitheater. That's coming. So we have invested. But there's really only 3 areas right now before this one where we could invest in Jefferson Parish. Obviously, Laketown and Kenner, Bonneville Boat Launch, and Bucktown. And this coming online and this ability to work with New Orleans is so critically important for us in Jefferson Parish with so little land to develop. So I want to thank you, Mayor, New Orleans, Representative, our council members. It took a lot of people to make this happen, and it took a mindset change to make this happen. That's all it was, really. So thank you, and we all look forward to many, many more regional projects.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to give you all a small peek behind the curtain in a second. This is nostalgic for everybody, and of course, one of the first dates with my wife was at Maggie and Schmitty's right over here, and so this brings back a whole lot of memories. Shortly after you were elected mayor, but before you took office, Councilmember Geruso called me and said the mayor-elect would like to have a press release announcing that we'll reach an agreement with on West End. And I laughed, and I said, haven't you been in all these meetings that we've been in the last few years? Like, isn't it a bit premature? So we didn't, or you didn't. We set that meeting, as you all said, the first week in office, and it was basically done. I mean, I think we all left there really shocked that this was actually going to happen. It's been worked on before I was in office, and it looks like it's going to happen. So I'm really excited to be a part of it. And it's amazingly just prideful to see this come to fruition.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you all for being here. And thank you, Mayor Moreno and Representative Hilferty and Cynthia and Hans. This has been, as everybody has said, a long time coming for this area. I too have many memories of this area. I have a photo that survived Katrina of me as a young girl with my siblings and my family celebrating at Fitzgerald's with my aunt and uncle, or my grandparents having their 50th wedding anniversary. So this is a long time coming, and I'm honored to be a part of the administration that is finally getting this done. Redevelopment of West End will benefit residents and visitors of both Orleans and Jefferson parishes, and I'm thankful for the leadership and cooperation of everyone involved here. This CEA represents an incredible opportunity for multi-parish collaboration. And I'm proud to say that I have support today of all of my colleagues on the council to move us one step forward to reinvesting in this natural gem that is West End. And I look forward to turning this dream into reality very soon. Thank you.
Thank you to everyone sitting up here with me. Everyone behind me and the other names mentioned were all really critical to this coming forward. We have two of our Jefferson Parish colleagues, Councilman Van Branken and Councilman Scott Walker here. This was truly a team effort, and it really shows the power of us working together. With that, I'd like to open it up to any questions about this redevelopment. Yes, Ella.
Examples so far about what exactly we're going to see in this space? I know it was known for the restaurants, so are we expecting more restaurants to come back once this is developed?
I think restaurants is certainly something people associate with this site. However, the proposals, first we're gonna do a request for qualifications, and then those qualified participants will submit proposals, and so those proposals will then become public, and we'll start to see a little closer, and obviously it's going to be a little different. So we've spoken about the restaurants that were here before. Those were all over and out into the water, and with the 17th Street Canal pumping station being where it is unlikely, and it won't happen, that we will have restaurants into the water because we don't want to impede the flow of that pump station. So it's going to be different than it was. It'll be a new West End, but those proposals that we receive from the qualified participants will help us to understand a little more clearly what we're going to be looking at. Yes.
So do you have a timeline yet for when you think this is fully developed and businesses are operating? Do you think
Well, that is the million-dollar question, right? And so I think we can say from the timeline that we can control at this point that we will have a proposal selected by first quarter of next year, and then at that point we should be in a good position to say it's anticipated to take X amount of time to be online for the public's use.
I was wondering.
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I'd like to speak for the fishermen and crabbers of this area. Would you be able to put a pier, fishing and crabbing pier, out into the lake and jet it to the right so we have it? People that don't have boats can come out and fish and crab.
And I will certainly come and talk to you about that later. All of that will have to be done with concert with the Army Corps of Engineers and understanding their pumping station.
Well, I know Jefferson Parish has done it, and they did a great job over at the harbor over there, but the pier that they have does not go out far enough in order to do any fishing or crabbing.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Happy to talk to you after.
Laura?
Yes. Oh.
I was going to ask, are the pilings going to get taken down as part of this effort? And you kind of answered my question too. I was going to ask about a walking pier.
So I think the pilings, I think all of that, we are going to look to see how the respondents address those issues. Yes, ma'am.
I have a two-part question directed to the mayor. Thank you for being here. Why did you withdraw the historic preservation conservation application for the park area? And also, Hilferty, in your recent bill, the economic development.
Ma'am,
of the
we're going to go
area-
ahead and take media questions. We can talk to you afterward. Any other media questions? Media questions. All right. Thank y'all so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.